Text: The Blue Continent, Journey to Rose Atoll Marine National Monument. Waves roll into the beach underneath a blue sky and fluffy white clouds. From above, the waves crashes all the way around the ring-shaped coral atoll. In the center, a large lagoon the same color as the ocean. A small triangle of a cluster of closely packed trees mark a single dark spot.
The ocean over here is our freeway to us Polynesia. It's a big blue continent that we're in, and it's got all these islands, and the way we connect is the ocean.
Vast view of sea and sky. Shallow waves roll onto the beach. Looking up from seafloor, fish swim in pale blue water as a wave passes above. A woman in a green bathing suit snorkels in the water.
The people of the South Pacific, we rely heavily on the ocean for survival.
Underwater, white fish with luminescent blue stripes swim among rocks and coral.
This is why we're so connected.
Henry Sazy Pasara.
Here in American Samoa, our economy focuses around the tuna industry.
Man on boat reels and fishing line on turbulent sea, foot braced on deck.
Small yellowfin tuna.
Man holds tuna fish.
American Samoa consists of 7 islands. 5 of those islands are volcanic.
Beach, palm trees on left and volcano on right.
And 2 of those are atolls.
Cluster of vegetation.
We have set aside Rose Atoll as a refuge for the wildlife and the marine resources in American Samoa.
Plants cover old sign for Rose Island.
About 180 miles from the island of Tutuila is Rose Atoll.
Man stands knee-deep in ocean and looks across water at Rose Atoll. Scientists carry equipment.
Rose Atoll is managed by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service.
Have you set this one up before?
No. It's part of the refuge system nationwide. It's the furthest one south of the equator.
Figure set up tents. Text: Brian Beck.
It's closed to the public due to the sensitive nature of the habitat and the resources there.
Brian walks in tidal plane.
There are impacts that even a remote atoll like Rose can't escape from.
Man walks in shallow clear water washing over rocks and coral.
One question that we have regarding climate change is temperature on the coral reef and how hot that's getting for the corals. And that's a primary reason that corals are bleaching worldwide.
Water rushes over corals.
So the question is, what is it about these corals that allow it to survive without bleaching? But really want to record how hot the water temperature gets here. So I'm going to set out some tidbit temperature loggers. I preset them back in my office to record a reading every 10 minutes, which will allow it to take data for about 150 days.
Brian Beck checks equipment readings with a small handheld device.
Overall, the habitat at Rose Atoll is in fantastic shape.
Birds overhead.
It supports thriving communities of seabirds.
Large black and white birds flock.
Sooty terns can nest in the tens of thousands. They literally can take over the island.
Sooty terns stand on beach under vegetation. Bird tucks spotted egg underneath its body. Scientists stand together on beach.
So we'll start basically mid-island, start that transect, and then once we pop out the other side, we'll come back. So if you can go 15 meters that way.
But one of the really important things to do is looking for nesting birds, seeing what the populations are like.
We have one, so let's go.
Okay, roger that.
Scientists walk through small, thin trees. They look up as sooty terns flying overhead. Sooty terns sit in tree, with sky behind them.
A downy chick. It's attended.
A white, downy tern chick sits on branch.
Rose Atoll also supports the primary population of green turtle hatchlings in this area of the South Central Pacific.
Turtle moves slowly along beach. Scientists reach into hole in sand.
There were 108 eggs and 3 of them didn't hatch. Pretty good.
Baby turtles leave nest.
The hatchlings will just crawl out of the sand and emerge.
A baby turtle moves toward ocean. Gentle waves wash in, and the turtle swims.
After 25 to 30 years, those turtles will return to Rose Island to lay their eggs.
A turtle swims in bright blue water over coral past a bluefish. A scientist in scuba gear swims past coral with hundreds of tiny light-colored fish zooming around.
Rose Atoll supports thriving fish populations, 200 plus species, hugely diverse.
Colorful fish swim.
It supports over 200 species of coral. Just very diverse for a very small area.
Clear water covers rocks and sand. Coral sticks up out of the water.
The future of Rose Atoll, both the National Wildlife Refuge and the Marine National Monument, is to monitor, restore, and just protect what's there.
A hermit crab peers out of shell and shifts position, lifting itself up with its pincers. A brown bird watches the sky. A baby sooty tern sits on a branch.
The establishment of Rose Atoll Marine National Monument is a balance of the conservation aspect and also the cultural aspect within American Samoa.
A man walks to boat and shed. Elaborate tattoos on lower back. Text, Suatapuolo Wilson Fithau, Tattoo Master.
The word tatau means tattoo. It comes from that word tatau. There was no written language in our South Pacific. This is what we used to like document the meaning of our culture. Every pattern in this tattoo talks about how we started, where we come from. This is the boat. The other, from here to here, is the other half that represents the other front of the other boat. And this is the big blue ocean right here. To us, tattooing that we're gonna put upon a person, it's a gift from us. All these lines that connect, that's where the islands are at. Whatever pattern that come in that moment, we believe is for this person only.
A person displays tattoos.
So right behind here, my boat, I built a paula. The main hull down here below was carved from a savai. So I brought the bottom part over here and I raised it up.
Wooden boat with carving of bird flying over Atoll on oars. The sail shows birds flying.
I want more people to feel the energy, the mana from the ocean. The knowledge is out there, and I believe in the mana of my ancestors.
Village buildings are tucked into a row of trees facing the water. Text, Tisha Famulai, Conservationist, Aliga Marina Reserve.
This whole bay is a reserve that I started in 1980.
A tidal plain and mountain slope. Sign reads absolutely no fishing or poaching.
My whole family is very happy that we started out this project to protect our resources here in the village.
Lifesaver reads Tisha's.
I want to be able to see that all is balanced and the ecosystem in its place.
Tisha walks along beach. A green mountain slope is behind her.
More than anything, I want to help my community.
A dog joins Tisha.
I love to see this island, the people go back and have a connection with nature. To see this island go back to being green.
Craggy mountains.
When we were children, my siblings, we would play and watch all this beautiful marine life. A colorful coral.
Text, National Park of American Samoa, Ofu Island. Tisha snorkels. Camera moves over small clumps of colored coral. Camera looks up at whitefish with blue stripes.
All kinds of beautiful fish.
Fish swim as sun rays shine through the clear water. Tisha snorkels.
The people of the South Pacific, where they're caretakers of the land and the ocean.
Whitefish with yellow strips on their backs swim through the coral.
The ocean doesn't necessarily separate us apart because the Polynesians follow the wind and the ocean direction, and that's how they get to all these different islands.
Coral reef and brilliant blue ocean from the air. A motorboat leaves a wide wake in the water.
I hope in the future that our people will still maintain the cultural relationship they have with the ocean.
Waves with white edges break at an angle between blue and clear water. Atoll and ocean from the air.
The more you listen to that sense or that mana from the ocean, the more you learn about the power of nature.
The setting sun turns clouds light orange and they reflect in the water. A shark swims in the deep blue ocean. A scientist works underwater.
It's time for us to work together because knowledge from different sides of the world can all help us to become better.
It is important to make that younger generation aware and to have that value of Rose Atoll within American Samoa.
Tisha smiles at the ocean. A scientist looks up into the trees, the sun shines on her face. Sua looks at his boat and smiles. Atoll from the air with the setting sun, gray clouds, and purplish ocean. Text, Rose Atoll Marine National Monument is managed by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration in cooperation with the American Samoa government. Logos: U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, NOAA, Seal of American Samoa, Department of Marine Wildlife Resources. Text: Tandem Stills Motion.